Hi everyone, this is Marla Witkowski from LAI 678, and this is my learning opportunity titled Collapsing Under the Weight. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the average American adult woman weighs 166 pounds. That statistic has increased 25 pounds since 1960. The weight of the average American man has gone up 30 pounds in that same time period, from 166 to 196 pounds. At the same time, our culture values being thin. Body mass index, or BMI, is an established factor to determine weight status. A BMI range of 18.5 to 24.9 is considered healthy for females. A study done by the University of Aberdeen found that females with a BMI of 19 were rated most attractive when men were presented with images of females of varying weights. Researchers suggest that thinness in females is attractive because it is equated with youth and fitness, and at a more evolutionary level because thinness is a good indicator for survival and the ability to bear children. Our image-heavy culture sends constant messages through movies, television shows, advertisements, and social media that there is an ideal body type for both men and women. On a typical day, 8 to 18-year-olds are engaged with some form of media for approximately 7.5 hours. There have never been as many opportunities for people to gaze at images of both strangers and friends, to evaluate them, to comment on them, and to share them with others. This intense scrutiny has led to body shaming, defined as the action or practice of humiliating someone by making mocking or critical comments about their body shape or size. Body shaming can occur in a variety of ways: criticizing your own appearance in comparison to someone else's, criticizing someone's appearance in front of them, or criticizing someone's appearance without their knowledge. Body shaming can happen on both ends of the weight spectrum. For every comment made to an obese person, there is an equivalent comment made to someone who is underweight. Being too heavy or too thin has mental and physical health ramifications that can have far-reaching impact. The learning goals for this activity were to develop an awareness of the media's role in dictating standards of attractiveness to society, identify social prejudices against people who are over or underweight, articulate current medical opinions about whether there is an ideal body weight for men or women, and then to design a digital media presentation, or DMC, to defend an opinion on body shaming. I've aligned these activities to the New York State Learning Standards for Health, Physical Education, and Fitness at the commencement level for grades 9 through 12. These are the health standards, or actually performance indicators. And then I've also aligned it to the New York State Learning Standards for English Language Arts Common Core. Again, for grades 9 through 12, there's a component and a standard here that align to the digital portion of the activities. The first activity is titled Typical Humans. And for Typical Humans, my idea was to have students pretend that they are aliens traveling through space. One day they come across a deserted space station full of magazines. Because they've never seen humans before, their task is to put together a report on what humans are like based on the information in the magazines. Students limited to using the magazines create a description of what a typical Earthling looks like. They may use the images to do a composite man or woman, to write a report, something that they can present to class. During the presentation, the teacher will collect the descriptive words that identify the typical Earthling. Activity 2 is a digital video project where we will be looking at selected excerpts of 2 documentaries. The first is Jean Kilbourne's documentary, Killing Us Softly. This documentary looks at the representation of women in the media, specifically how the ideal image of beauty is influencing body image. We'll also look at NOVA's program called Dying to Be Thin. The episode Cultural Pressures, The Perfection Game, discusses how body types represented in the media can lead to the development of eating disorders. Again, we'll be collecting additional descriptive terms that are used to describe the body types represented. I've included the trailer for Killing Us Softly, as well as, oops, sorry, I didn't want to start that. As well as the video Dying to Be Thin as well. Activity number 3 is called the ideal, and this is really doing both internet and library research to look for information about the medical opinions on ideal weight. The students will be performing research to answer the following questions. Is there an ideal weight for men and women? What do healthcare professionals say? What factors, for example, height, bone structure, BMI, are considered when judging an ideal weight for men and women? And what health risks are possible if a person is overweight or underweight? After that research is complete, we'll start activity 4, which will take up a number of class periods. But we're going to be looking at body shaming, specifically fat or skinny shaming, and which is worse. Students are going to be introduced to some trending hashtags that have invaded social media, namely Fitspo, Thinspo, and You Did Not Eat That. Fitspo is short for fitness inspiration, and it's used as a motivator for people to get healthier and involved in fitness. Normally this would be considered a good thing, but the hashtag usually includes images of very fit, very scantily clad women with phrases like strong is the new skinny. It is seen by many as a new form of the same type of representation of the ideal as the messages in advertisements and other forms of media. Thinspo is short for thin inspiration. Very similar to Fitspo, it involves glamorized photos of extremely thin women. Thinspo differs in that it is typically passed around as a willpower motivation for people with eating disorders, such as anorexics and bulimics. The last hashtag, You Did Not Eat That, is a hashtag that pulls together images of thin women, such as models, actresses, actors who are very buff, holding food that people assume that they would never eat. For example, a large slice of cake or a bowl of pasta, something like that. The assumption is that someone with a thin body could not possibly eat certain foods and maintain their weight. This is an example of You Did Not Eat That, and you can see that very lovely woman holding what looks to be an incredible, I don't know, it looks like maybe strawberry shortcake or something. Amazing. Anyhow, you can read the comments over on the right that talk about how someone that looks like her could not possibly eat that delicious dessert. As part of Activity 4, we're also going to have students visit a teacher-constructed resource site that has some selected videos posted that they can take a look at. A number of them are episodes of the television show What Would You Do?, which has researched heavily into fat shaming, and then also some information on skinny shaming so they get a balanced report of what both are. For our final culminating activity, what I'd like them to do is use the evidence gathered from all of the exercises within the unit to create a DMC to defend their position on which is worse, fat shaming or skinny shaming. And again, I've included an example of one that I found on the internet that resembles closely what I'd like the students' final projects to look like. So why is this important? Only 5% of women in the United States actually fit the body type currently being portrayed in the media as the ideal. Messages sent through the media can have a profound effect on how individuals perceive themselves and their bodies. The reality is that bodies come in all shapes and sizes, and attempting to meet unrealistic expectations can be a negative influence on self-esteem and can lead to harmful actions that may cause physical and mental issues for students. Not surprisingly, the incidence of eating disorders has increased by 400% since 1970.